Hello all, and welcome to the after party of our hen and stag do. I was at Whitney's party.
I was at the stag party. I was the guy in the nappy. Did he spot me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Vaguely remember him.
I had my mobile phone down my nappy, and I was just getting loads of free booze from Tina.
Yeah. So you didn't have a good time because stag do.
I
bit damp.
Well, I had a reasonably good time. I got to drop Robbie on his head, which was only the second time that's happened to Robbie. The first time, obviously, being when he was born.
Or when Martin Cush put him in a bin.
Yeah, no, he fell on his bot when he did that.
But speaking of the sumo wrestler, because that's not you.
No, I'm sorry.
And even before I even speak of that, I've got to introduce us. Too excited, you see.
Oh yeah, we're full of sugar, full of Skittles.
E20 looked busy. Our minds are blown.
E20 isn't the colourant of the Skittles.
Whitney's had her nails back.
Yeah, she got her claws out. The cat's got claws. Meow.
So before we actually talk about the show, we are going to talk about us. And I am Ben, the host, and I'm joined by Alex, co-host. Is that what we're calling you this week?
Yeah, I'll take any name. As long as I'm wanted, which I don't seem to be very wanted on Twitter at the moment by one certain Ben Mitchell.
You talk about him every week.
No, I'm obsessed with him.
We're all obsessed with Ben Mitchell.
But he's not obsessed with me. So he's playing the right game, you see, because if he's playing hard to get, now I want him to pay me attention. And he's not paying me attention.
Just like the real Ben.
Just like the real Ben.
We're discussing the episodes that were broadcast on the BBC between the 26th and the 30th of August. Now, anyway, back to what we were just talking about the sumo wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
He was a bit part character, brought in. This week, the writer was Johnny O'Neill.
And that name rings a bell.
Previous episodes that he's done, he's brought in similar characters. So before, he had the wonderful Magic Marv.
Yes, again a character that Tina interacted with.
So yeah. And then after that, he had the pizza delivery guy.
Another Carter creation. So yeah, it must be. He has an obsession with really upsetting the Carters.
And then this time, he made Sully the sumo wrestler.
Sully, they actually gave him a name. Was he credited at the end as Sully?
Yeah, Sully.
That's where you picked up from. Sully.
So those three is his creations. He wrote the 2 episodes, the Thursday and Friday. Which one out of those 3 is your favourite?
What, from Thursday or Friday?
No, from Sully the sumo wrestler,
Oh, okay.
the pizza delivery guy, or Magic Marv.
Oh, sorry, but I think the pizza delivery guy just about has it.
Yeah, his accent.
Yeah, and he was a bit cheeky, and he also had a bit more involvement with the story. And it was genuinely quite funny, while Magic Marv and the sumo guy wasn't particularly...
Magic Marv was in... He wasn't there at the right time. We couldn't handle it.
I think even if he was there in the right time, I wouldn't find him welcome in my story.
Sully the sumo wrestler was all right though.
Sully was fine. He's got the same name as the blue monster from Monsters Inc.
Who, Sully?
Yeah, Sully the sumo wrestler.
Yeah, well, there you go. I thought that was interesting. So I wonder next time he writes an episode, maybe he'll bring in another comedy character.
I mean, if he needs to cast this comedy character, we are free most weekends.
I'm not.
If that was the writer's name.
Johnny O'Neill.
Okay. If good old Johnny, if Johnny was to get in touch with us and say, "Hey guys, do you fancy being a bit character on EastEnders?" You might make a little fool of yourself, but you'll be credited as
you'll go down in history of being hated on EastEnders, like Magic Marv.
The pizza guy was loved.
Just Magic Marv was a bit iffy.
Yeah, well, and Sully we don't know yet. I mean, if anyone out there loved Sully, get in touch. Let us know. If Sully loves Sully, if the guy who plays Sully wants to get in touch, say hello. I fancy it. I'd love a sumo wrestler to follow me one day.
Well, we better get on with the show. So we had the hen do and the stag do this week for a wedding, someone's Whitney and Callum's.
Yeah, I mean, they've made the fatal mistake of actually having the do the day before the wedding. It's quite old-fashioned now. Nowadays,
I couldn't do that.
No,
now I did it like 3 weeks.
Exactly, but it adds a plot, it adds a premise. You can either do it one way where they get too drunk and they're very ill on the wedding day, or you can do it where there's a big revelation and perhaps could ruin the wedding day, and there's no time really to mop it up. They have to mop it quickly and get it sorted out.
I was wondering, they're running out of time at the end of this week, and I thought, how's next week going to happen? Because we have to go through the process of the stag and hen do first.
Yeah, I mean, neither seemed that keen to have a do at the beginning of the week. Whitney had discovered the letters from Chris, which upset her.
But she didn't know it was a boy, didn't she?
She never found out it was a boy.
Well, even when the person died, Callum didn't say he died. Like, if we watch back, do you think?
No, because Whitney says to Sonia, because Sonia puts her mind at rest later on the Monday episode, that she still has feelings for Jamie, and she'll never forget those feelings. He was her first love, and Callum's probably this was his first love, and so you got to let him have it.
It was a great line from Sonia though, because she said something like when Whitney told her, she was like, "Who is she?" I'm gonna go kill her. Whitney was like, "She's dead." She's like, "Oh, that's right then."
Yeah, that's fine. I suppose I can't kill her twice. Sonia would be right.
Yeah, nice Jamie mention. We enjoy that. No
Yeah.
coincidence we mentioned Jamie about 6 to 8 months ago. So
I mean, you're clutching at straws if you're saying that they decided to mention Jamie because we made a
No, I'm
passing
not.
reference
That's
8
not
months
clutching
ago.
at straws at all.
It certainly is. You're just grabbing at anything now to say that all of our ideas
like
are
Callum.
just cropping up on the soap. Callum at least admitted to grabbing anything a few months ago.
I had questions when he said that to Whitney, but that's a bit later on, so I can't talk about that yet, can I? But I did have
You
questions.
can.
Yeah. Well, when the confrontation was going on, and she said, "Was it just a kiss?" and he was like,
But he didn't answer.
"Exactly. I want to know what happened."
But you wanted to know the gory details. I don't think you really need to.
No, I do.
So do you think? I mean, without being
Oh,
too.
no.
Well, I'm not going to be graphic.
Yeah, you
but-
will.
No, I'm not. Do you
Okay.
think that they did an act that would involve?
100%. All the way.
Yeah,
Third
is 100% full? No, home run.
Home.
Did you reckon?
Homo run.
Yeah, do you reckon Callum hit a homo run?
No, not in an outside park, and it was like his first time.
Yeah, I think it was just a.
He's a bit more classy.
It was more than
Bit of a
kissing.
fondle, I think.
Do you reckon it was a mutual something? They mutually
for God's
did
sake,
something.
Don't say the word mutual.
Well, I think that's quite clean.
No, it's disgusting because it makes lots of images.
To you wanted to know the gory details.
No, I
you
did,
thought
but I
that
want Callum to say.
you thought it was going to be broadcast on BBC One at 8 o'clock. Although there was willy straws on EastEnders this week.
And there was like signs of fingers going in circles. I saw as well, in and out.
A lot of sexual innuendo. It's like a carry-on film.
Rainie choking on said penis straw.
Well, choking on the penis, yes. So again,
rude.
the insinuation was there.
Hmm.
No painkillers for that. No relaxant for her throat.
But yeah, very electric scenes because we had like the stag do, the hen do. The stag do was a bit rubbish because it was by Mick. Mick wasn't very good at what he was doing, having like anxiety attacks, I guess.
Yeah, he didn't really like. All the ideas he kept coming out with were always
Old-fashioned.
stock. Yeah, stock ideas for
Basically, because they came from Mitch, so they were just old-fashioned.
I know,
and out of date.
exactly. It really angered me that Mitch and Mick were like organising this stag do. It's
Don't they
just
know
like,
that Callum is a modern bisexual man?
Exactly.
Whitney does.
Well, Whitney now knows also that Callum's not a coward, which he was accused of by Ben this week.
That was his like turning point, thinking, because Callum, he's just genuinely a nice guy. Like, there's not a bad bone in his body, apart from when Ben's there. No, but like, because he's so nice.
So you tell me off for a mutual act, and you said bad bone in his body. How
Yeah,
dare
that's
you?
allowed.
Bad
But,
to the bone.
But he's such a good guy that he thought, I can't go into a wedding with any secrets.
Yeah.
So he actually
Unlike
had
the Carters.
yeah, or anyone on the square.
Yeah.
So he had the decency to cut out the courage,
Mhm.
punch Ben. Although last time he punched Ben, Ben liked it. So
But
I
that's
think
when
Ben liked it this
the
time.
very famous line "I smell queer"
Mm.
came out.
because they very nearly kissed in the car lot, didn't they? Not
yeah.
the car lot, whatever it's called.
It was the Archers, yeah.
Yeah, very nearly. They like thought about it and then thought better. But yeah, he went to admit all his feelings to Whitney.
She was invited home
She was invited home.
by Callum. Callum wanted a chat. I mean, again, I think Ben's love for Callum is greater than perhaps Whitney's because he cleaned up Callum's sick as well. Would Whitney have done that, do you think, with her nails?
It looked like he was sick in the boot of the car as well, which was taking even longer to clean.
No, I think he was sick on the floor
Oh, was
because
he?
it made a kind of
Courteous.
solid concrete vomit to concrete sound. Do you know what I mean? It made a kind of slap sound, like liquid slapping the floor, rather than a valeted, carpeted boot. But Ben had been thrown into because Stuart was worried that Ben was going to the stag do and didn't want him to turn up because it might
turn
Callum. But Stuart doesn't still know that Callum really has feelings. He thinks that Ben is manipulating him, so he's almost got a secret against
blaming
him.
Ben, isn't he?
He's blaming Ben, but I don't think he fully knows why Callum is scared of Ben. I don't think Stuart 100% knows that it's because Callum has got feelings for Ben.
No, it's just Stuart working in his own mind, thinking this is the right thing, but it really isn't. And it kind of shows us that Stuart hasn't really changed.
Yeah, I think it's the only way Stuart knows how to communicate with people who he feels not threatened by, but has threatened his family. And he thinks he's doing good for Callum, but in actual fact, Callum then kind of gets very angry at Stuart for doing it. And you can see Stuart looks a bit remorseful and regretful that he had done it.
Yeah, doesn't realise like what he's done or what. Like he never sees like the consequence of what he does it? He just does his action and think, oh, I've done a good deed. When really he put Ben and Callum like together.
Well, he's pushing them closer, isn't he? Because this is where the admission by Callum's happened, and so by this admission, Whitney at first felt threatened by Ben, but then when she visited,
she went through like the 7 stages.
She really did. She was packing her bag, drinking, reading the vows, accepting the vows.
Yeah, but it was really well done. It wasn't just like a big screaming match. Like there was wine involved, drink, and they did shout, but like they talked on like either side of the door, and it was quite well done between both of them.
I agree with you. It wasn't just screaming, and I think that's because of Callum, though. And again, the writers seem to know what Callum is, if you understand. So they write for Callum really well. So whenever Callum is in a scene with Ben or with Whitney, Ben and Whitney's characters change, and they seem to almost, and they're kind of
he has
molded.
Quite a calming nature on people, doesn't he?
Yeah, and obviously the reason Ben and Whitney change so much is because I think they both genuinely do love him. So Callum's kind of winning this situation because he's got 2 people who are madly in love with him. It's not like when they've done the story before with Christian and Saeed, when Saeed wasn't really didn't really
love her.
Love her. He did love Christian. I think Callum does love Whitney. I think it's genuine. And so Whitney asking Callum, what are you? Are you gay? You can't be straight.
Yeah, and he said no to like everything.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that could have been like she said, are you bi? He could have been like, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
And Chris was this or something, but no, he said no. I guess he was embarrassed at the situation.
Maybe he's fluid. He's fluid.
Yeah,
changes on the whip. Change on the whip. Change on.
I guess maybe
change on a bottle of beer. Apparently,
maybe he thought if I admit that now, it's like going to make this argument like go to a next level. So he was trying to keep it
on the DL
simmered.
Yeah,
I guess
on the down low.
But it was interesting at the end when because Ben got around all sorts of places, but he ended up, of course, in the Bill house where this had to go down. The Bill living room where everything goes down, and Whitney went to pay him a visit. EastEnders overran by like 2 minutes.
Yeah. Why not?
She got her new claws out, and she it was quite interesting how she said to Ben, "You're not the only person who's been hurt," and you kind of forget that Whitney's upbringing kind of similar in a way to Ben's. How like they're both abused as children, obviously in different ways, but they've both been brought up in very horrible situations. So I guess they've got that sort of similarity between them.
They've both had to grow up quite quickly as children. Ben through the prison system, I suppose, and Whitney through the care system.
Bianca system.
Exactly that, the Bianca system. And so Whitney doesn't really show any kind of remorse for Ben at all. She just sees that Ben wanted something and has tried to take it away from her. And she's basically threatened him, saying that if you try it again, you stay away from us, or I'll kill you. Yes, again, setting up for who gets killed next week, or shot, we don't know yet.
I also thought it was interesting because she was about to leave, and he said to her, how could you still marry him? And that's when she went on to that whole argument. And she said something a bit mean when she said, oh, I bet you wouldn't even looked at Callum if he was single. It's like, what are you saying? That he's a bit like ordinary, Whitney? Like, why are you with him then? Like, do you know what I mean?
She didn't want to be with Callum though originally. Yeah. She didn't. It wasn't until Callum.
So has she settled like for Callum, like unknowingly?
I mean,
I thought it was a bit cutting that comment. Like you wouldn't even look at him if he was single. It's only because he's taken you want him.
Yeah.
And then to me it was like, oh, so Callum's not all that then, Whitney? Is that what you were trying to say in a weird way?
I mean, Whitney just wants to belong, doesn't she? She just wants to be placed. And I think she's quite happy, as much as she says, oh, I've got my own store, I've got my own life, I've got my own independence. I think Whitney really just wants to be protected. And with Callum, with a steady job and the flat above the funeral parlour, I mean, it must be more than that as well. And Whitney did say to Ben, I deserve to be happy. I deserve this. So again, it's her way of saying, you can't take this away from me. I'm not going to let you. So again, maybe Callum's just almost seen as possession by Whitney.
I mean, what are we going to see going forward? I mean, obviously the wedding is going to go ahead, I assume.
It looks that way. From pictures and trailers, it
I mean,
looks as
how
though
does
it's going
Ben
ahead.
get an invite to it? He's in a suit.
But there's also the photograph where Ben and Callum have a conversation in their bedroom as well.
How is
in
this
Whitney
happening?
and Callum's bedroom. Well, that's it. Maybe sneaks
I feel
in.
like I need an episode like tomorrow, like in between, a gap filler.
What a weekend episode of EastEnders.
Because I feel like I need another half hour.
Maybe they should do an online-only episode.
Or at least an hour episode next week. Like the wedding should have been an hour, I think. Like a special. It's only half an hour.
Yeah, but it's a week long, half an hour. That the whole day is probably going to be spun over the whole week now.
Very excited.
It's going to be good. It's going to be very good.
This was like this whole week was just like the storm like brewing before, wasn't it? And yeah, very excited.
Oh yeah, all the ingredients were being thrown in, and there's lots of hints of gun and the shooting and lots of people wanting to.
Lots of stories crossing all over the place. And it was nice that we also had like a fun hen do as well. Like we saw loads of characters in E20. They were all mixing.
Yeah.
And there was like fun bits of Karen and Linda. So
E20 looked busy. It was so nice to see a busy scene. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes the Vic can feel a bit empty and a bit sparse. I think the last time it really felt quite busy and real was when
1985.
Yeah, but after that though, they had the scene where Ruby announced to the world that this is a new world.
They had like every character in the Vic. Yeah,
but it felt right, didn't it? It felt like a busy pub. It felt like a Friday night in the pub. And E20 felt the same way when they were outside on the stairs where the doormen were. It felt like people were coming in and out. There felt like a movement in there, and it really felt nice that they were filming these scenes. And as you say, the stag and the hen party ended up in E20, and it felt real. It felt good. It felt good to watch.
Good fun. Mo was having a good time.
Yeah,
Mo and Karen is like a really good friendship, which I've never really thought about. But them two together, they were quite good. Like quite a good two characters to put together, Big Mo and Karen. I'd never thought of that before in my head, but yeah. I noticed Kat was missing.
She's got bigger fish to fry, hasn't she? She's kind of worrying about Stacey and Jean. And
maybe she's out with Bianca. They're mates, aren't they?
Maybe she gave her a call. Said, do you want to hook up? Go to Bill's place, get some chips.
Well, Sonia's arranging a surprise for next week. So
yeah, well, yes.
I wonder what that is.
I know. It's so obvious, wasn't she, when she just said, oh, I've just arranged a surprise for Whitney.
And we had Sonia nurse watch. She knew what to do when Rainie was choking. And she also gave advice to Linda about make sure you have a glass of water before you go to bed.
Yes, that's medical advice.
That was her work done.
And make sure she lays on her side. So if she does throw up, it doesn't go back down her throat. Yeah.
Well, just really quickly talking about the Carters. They had Mick had a storyline in between him arranging his stag doing stuff. He actually went to a doctor's appointment that Linda did for him. Linda's been given the all clear for her test results. And the doctor kind of said to Mick, it was quite funny. She was like, anything that could have triggered what's happened? And he just listed off 1,000 storylines.
Yeah, but then that was the most recent as well. Nothing fun. I found out that my sister is actually my mum.
I learnt to swim and need glasses.
Oh yeah,
that was a good old day.
I got accused of being hiring a prostitute for a friend. I got arrested for that. That was fun.
It was she said you just need some cognitive behaviour therapy. So it was all quite realistic with what they said.
Yeah, it was a nice scene actually. Again, another doctor's room that we got to see this week. Not as impressive as the scene we saw with the first doctor's room, which we'll talk about a bit later.
God, was that this week, wasn't it? The
Monday,
big stunt.
The stunt, yeah. The big stunt with multiple camera angles.
Right, so let's move on to, I'm going to say, the comedy storyline of this week.
I don't think it was very funny for Bailey. I think Bailey took it very seriously.
I said last week I wasn't impressed with what this sounded like. I was going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I had a storyliner tell me to give it time.
Well, during the episode, when you were slagging it off every left, right and centre on Twitter.
It was one tweet.
Yeah, but it was quite a harsh tweet. I've had enough already, or something along those lines. It's like you've literally watched 1 minute into this scene.
Yeah, but I stand by it even at the end of the scene because it was stupid.
I mean, I agree it was stupid in the sense that a psychic isn't real, as we discussed last week, that you can't tell the future by spirits and the ghosty world or anything like that. It just doesn't happen.
She could tell that Chantelle's house was unhappy.
Yeah, but then that's what I mean. It's like, why did they almost insinuate that she did have this kind of secret power? Because throughout the whole scene, they kind of held her up on it, saying, you this isn't real, what you're saying is fake, and you're confusing a little girl, and the whole
almost manipulating
her, and then took a payment for it from Chantelle's kitty. So again, Grey's.
I know she
money.
like had a go at Chantelle saying, "Well, I came here, I've not been paid." It's like you've just accepted a job from like an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
What do you really expect?
Who you tried to manipulate and failed because Bailey is a lot smarter. But I mean,
and they told her to go, and she was like, "I've been paid for the hour." It's like, I thought you haven't been paid.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Stupid women, and they really like wasted the actress on that role, and it was just stupid. It didn't go anywhere.
No, well, it was just a silly mess, really. It just didn't seem to have any other. The only point of it really seemed to be that at the end, Chantelle was warned that she's living in a very hostile,
and she spent some more money on her like allowance.
Yeah, so again, that's another part of the plot. Which then later on at the end of the week, so right at the end of the week, Chantelle gets a phone call from Grey. She seemed quite nervous to talk to him over the phone about her day.
And she said to Whitney that she was bag of nerves on her wedding day. So I wonder how long this like abuse is. Like, was it before they got married as well? Do you think, or do you think?
Well, she said they had a big argument. They had a huge argument on the day before their wedding day, and they're still happy. As we said, it's setting up really for another situation between her and Grey, I guess. Won't be next week though, I don't think.
But yeah, that was it with the Taylors. Really, I mean, nothing really came of Bailey's storyline in the end. She just sort of admitted that she couldn't speak to the psychic.
Well, the psychic wasn't really telling her anything that she thought was information that would be useful. She wanted
her and Keegan had like a thing afterwards, didn't they? Where Keegan said that he'll always be there for her. I guess that was the moral of the story.
Well, he said he will always be her half brother. So yeah, so there's that connection again, and a lot of people said that perhaps they're going for again the best partnership kind of thing, but instead of it being Mitch, it'll be Keegan, which will be a much more appropriate maybe relationship. Yeah, because it means that Mitch isn't so centre forward with a character that people seem to love. If they're attaching Mitch with Mick at the moment, and it just feels so wrong and just not right. It just
feels dated, their friendship as well.
Yeah, it feels really old fashioned, their jokes, and it's like when he was helping Mick write his jokes for the best man speech, it just felt really kind of like it's like something you imagine seeing from a 1970s working man's club. It just wasn't funny. Not
good. Much better if Keegan in his different jumpsuit for each day.
It was. Well, it's nice that Keegan he's taken almost a complete 360 of his character. He's gone from being this really hostile, angry bully, to a very caring half-brother, and also to the community as well. He seems to really want to light up the community rather than kind of pull it down.
Yeah, bringing Bailey for him has really like helped round his character and make him like a much more believable guy. So yeah, more of that. But now I think we need to go onto our feature because we've got a This Is Your Life section coming up because someone very important is coming back to the square next week. So we are here with another edition of This Is Your Life, which can only mean one thing, is that someone is returning to the square again after a long period of time away from the square.
Yes, and we do a quick recap of who the character is and their past, and
it's not Bianca, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry, we're not. Yes, I think people know enough about Bianca than for us to rip up her past again.
Yeah, she shouts Ricky. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. I mean, there's more to it than just that.
Well, she's only back for a few weeks, where Lisa Fowler is possibly back for 3 months plus. So she's worth talking about.
So there's a few bits and pieces that we've kind of circled around to discuss about Lisa and her history from the square.
She's been on the show since 1998, so there's a lot of history here with her.
Yeah, and she was on the show for about 12 years, wasn't it? She left in 2010, only then to return in 2017 for a short stint.
Well, she left before 2010, but then she came back for guest stints.
Yeah, lots of bits and pieces. So, but then got forgotten a little bit, swept under the carpet. But she won't be swept under the carpet this coming few weeks. So, just a little summing up of her introduction. So, she arrived in Albert Square to become the new assistant market inspector.
Oh God, really?
Yep, to work alongside Michael Rose, for whom she had a bit of an affair with, and she lost her virginity with.
Yeah, she lost her virginity late in life, didn't she?
She did, but she was described...
not like her mate Mel.
Oh no. But she wasn't friends with Mel just then. No. She became friends with her when she first came to Walford, and she was described as feisty, independent, and ambitious. I mean, 3 words that you possibly wouldn't describe Lisa Fowler as.
That went
today.
out the window, didn't it? A few years later. But that's one thing I remember about Lisa is obviously her and Phil and Who Shot Phil, but like her and Mel's friendship,
which
has been really missing the past year with Mel.
I mean, you're right. Mel, there's been something always missing with Mel's storyline when she was with Ray, when she was with Jack, when Hunter and Hunter's Return. And there's always been something missing. And I think that something missing has always been her BFF, her number one, her chum, her buddy.
They had a real nice friendship. Like, Mel's a bit of an ice queen and Lisa's always been a bit unhinged. But like, they always had that nice real friendship with each other, which was, it made them like, you rooted for them because of it.
But they helped each other out because Lisa would have many problems, obviously, in her future, but some of them being the mothers of men that she dated. So Pauline Fowler was a bit of a pain in her side.
She's an issue for most people.
She really was. And so she would kind of talk through her troubles with Mel, but Mel did betray Lisa once, and once only, and that's when she slept with Phil.
Of course, who couldn't?
I know, Phil was irresistible. I mean, he just gets everyone. In fact, Mel kissed Phil again, trying to tease him and get him into trouble with Sharon. Yeah, very recently.
Her and Phil's a relationship. They were quite explosive and not really good for each other. Like, they did bring out the worst in both of them. Because there was like a storyline where he was belittling Lisa for quite a while, wasn't he? And he was like seeing it as a way to be manly and on top of her and really pushing her down. Yeah,
dominate her.
Yeah.
I mean, he was belittling her and kind of punishing her for miscarrying his child when she first became pregnant by him. Although she wanted the child initially and he didn't, eventually he came round to the idea and then she lost it, and Phil totally blamed Lisa for that. And I suppose all this kind of torture and torment by Phil eventually kind of led her to this big storyline, the big storyline that came in 2001.
Yeah, it's like the biggest storyline in years on EastEnders, and the Who Shot Phil, and no one knew who it was going to be, and her being the person who did it sort of made Lisa Fowler like go down automatically in EastEnders history. But I think at the same time, it sort of was the end of her
It shortened her
character.
shelf life because it meant that really she had committed this heinous crime and that she would never really come back from it.
And she's not even really been punished for it, which I find interesting.
Well, no, Dan Sullivan was framed for it. Someone that because Phil felt sorry for Lisa after she was pretty much had to admit it in front of Phil because Phil pointed the finger at her.
That's the kitchen table Mitchell talk that he had with Ben recently.
Yes.
It's very similar when he had with Lisa when he said, I know you did it.
Well, it's very similar, exactly, because he was aware that it was Lisa the whole time and he kept it secret from the police. Likewise, what he did with Ben, as you say, he was aware that Ben had this conversation with Jay and kept it a secret from the police, just so he can handle matters the Mitchell way, which is no police get involved. We do our own way.
Family.
Yeah, family. I mean, Phil had, like we said, had kind of ground Lisa down quite heavily. When Lisa lost her job, Phil saw this as an opportunity to kind of make her like the mother at home and kind of dependent on him entirely. And when she was looking for more work, he encouraged her not to do it. So he kind of liked, it was a double-edged sword for Phil with poor Lisa, because he kind of liked that Lisa was dependent and kind of looked up to him as someone who she can kind of need to lean on. But at the same time, he didn't like this kind of whimpering woman who needed him all the time. So
it's almost like that's what Phil likes in his women. Like, Sharon's quite strong and feisty, but he likes breaking them down, doesn't he? It's a weird complex he has.
Yeah, he likes
to do it to all the women in his life.
Get in line to his way. I suppose very similar to his father, who used to do to Peggy when she used to be abused by him. But this isn't about Phil. This is about poor old Lisa. But Phil really did grind Lisa down and grind her down.
Exactly. It's a big thing of her character, because like you say, when she was first introduced, she was introduced as a feisty, strong-headed woman, and then like towards the end, I think Lucy Benjamin herself said all she did was cry, and she was just more of like a motherly type. So there was a big change in how she ended, and obviously her mental state seems to be like a running storyline from every single guest stint she does since her permanent exit. I
mean, Lucy does stand up for Lisa quite regularly. There's been lots of interviews where she stands up for Lisa's actions. So she obviously is quite passionate about the character that she plays. She loves
never
playing
wanted
Lisa.
To be axed.
When it was first revealed, she said that she chose to leave, but through later interviews with Steve McFadden, who plays obviously Phil, who was having a real life relationship with Lucy. I mean, that must have been hard at home as well. Like, you spent days and weeks and months basically abusing one another on screen. And then when you get home, it's like, what do you want for tea? Should we microwave something? You know, it can't be a normal relationship at home either. But he said that Lucy was pushed, where she was told that they wanted her to leave, and so instead of looking like a bad loser almost, and snivelling and saying like, "Oh, they got rid of me," she kind of decided to take the first step and say, "No, I wanted to go," just so there was good terms. And I think that was a good step to do because, as you said, then she was able to come back a few more times as her character.
Well, she's very loyal to the show because she, you have to be loyal. She even came back to do the podcast, not our podcast, the official podcast. So that she's loyal. She
did. She was in Portugal, was it? With the
Ray and Hunter and Mel. So, she said yes to that. She came back during, the dark days of 2017 to spruce up the ratings for that week.
I mean, we watched that episode again and it was a good episode as well.
I hope this time when Lisa's back, she's a bit more headstrong. Because, we've seen her knock down. I'd like to see the other side of it now, I think.
I think, though, she will always not want to be... not loved, but want to be respected by a man, because she had the respect from a man, from Mark, hence where she picked up the name Fowler.
He's boring.
But he was boring, exactly. She liked the excitement. But although she knows that Phil is very bad for her, and I'm not suggesting in any way that she and Phil is going to get back together for a story, because it would just make the whole Keanu being the father of Sharon's baby, even more complicated than it needs to be already. I think she'll always be alone, always be single, because she would never find a man who can truly love her, but respect her the way she wants to be respected.
She just needs to be there just for Lou, isn't it?
Yeah, she's always just there
for Lou. A lot of her storylines is for Lou, because obviously when Steve died and Lou was kidnapped and the car chase, that was all where kind of parallel to what her return is, where Steve are trying to escape the country and Lisa is going to go with Lou. And it kind of parallels to the storyline that they're doing this time, where Mel wants Lisa to come with her and Hunter with Keanu and Lou again. So it's kind of a history repeating itself here.
But a lot of it's repeating itself, though, like we said about the conversation with Ben and Phil. So it's almost they're rehashing history in order to... It's rekindling a viewer's memory in order to almost feel more involved and engaged with this new story, because it's come about quite quickly. So it's using a bit of nostalgia in order to just fill in the gaps which aren't, mentioned by the writers or the producers.
Because we don't really know why she's back. It's just that they've said she's back for Louise. And going by the trailer for next week's show, it looks like she's trying to escape the country with Keanu and Louise, and Mel wants to join up and do it with Hunter. But apart from that, we don't know what's happening. And we know that she's still filming to today. So
it's been a long filming
so she's
schedule.
Still there. Yeah. So it'd be interesting if she's going to put roots down, or she's going to move in somewhere, or her and Louise are going to get a place on the square together. It's interesting. Lots of different things that could happen with her.
I mean, it must show that her stability must be better, because the last stint, which we mentioned in 2017, when she again kidnapped her daughter for the 100th time to look after her when she'd been burnt by Madison and Alexandra. With the candles.
Soap award winning.
Absolutely. And she was broken in that scene when she's in the hotel room and Phil comes storming in and just shouts at her, and she's shaking and she's just talking, and she's not talking coherently at all. But even then, Louise stands by her mum. And I think there's a scene also earlier when earlier in her appearances when Peggy comes back to visit Lisa after her initial breakdown, and Louise goes wandering looking for her family in Albert Square, and Louise wants to stay with her mum then as well, and she does stay with her mum until her appearance when she comes back after Phil tries to give Louise the money when Phil thinks he's dying. And I think Louise will always have that attachment to Lisa that would be slightly stronger than what she has with her father. I think in every situation Lisa will always trump Phil with Louise's affections.
Because even at Christmas, it wasn't on screen, but she mentioned her mum. She wanted her to be there for her, and she wasn't. And then she obviously didn't tell her about the pregnancy because she didn't want to upset her stability. So there's loads that they can do with Lisa and Louise's relationship, and there's loads they can do with Mel for her final bits, and there's the history of Steve and Sharon. So there is loads for Lisa to get involved with. Will she be involved in Keanu reveal?
Is she going to have the secret? That's the question, isn't it?
Is someone going to get shot, and is it going to be her? There's loads of things that could happen.
Because Sharon was the one who revealed to Phil that Lisa's, when she was pregnant and said it was Mark's baby, that it was actually Phil's, because Lisa confided in Sharon. So will Sharon confide in Lisa and say, it's actually Keanu's baby? Yeah. And so then Lisa's got
there's so many there's loads of parallels, but they're flipped with Lisa on. So it is exciting to have her back.
Yes.
as long as she doesn't come back. Because I remember she came back once for like, I think it was like a few episodes, and she had her hair blow dried straight, and she was in a suit, and I was like, that's not Lisa.
No, I don't think that is the Lisa that comes back though. From the
Curly
publicity
hair.
shots we've seen. Yeah. Worried face, constantly worried. She always has that worried face, doesn't she? Slightly worried eyes.
But yeah, I'd like her to be a bit more stronger than what we've seen in the past few times, and just a little bit more confident in what she wants. To be there for Louise, I think.
Hopefully Phil won't be the trigger though for her again, because it's always Phil that's the trigger. As soon as she sees Phil, something inside of her switch goes, and then that's the end of it.
She'll give Stacey a handshake off screen. Well done. We're in the same club.
yeah, we've all done it.
Who did Phil? But yeah, exciting times for Lisa. She's back next week on screens, so
she is. If there's any memories we may have missed out, I suppose we didn't really talk much about her relationship with Mark Fowler, but I suppose that was more of a ruse.
That's all you need to say.
It was a bit boring. But is there any stories that you guys were more fond about Lisa that we maybe didn't mention? Get in touch with us. We can always bring it up again on the show if you email us, eastendersweekly@gmail.com, or just get in touch with us on Twitter @EastEndersWeek, our Instagram @EastEndersWeeklyPodcast, or join our Facebook group. Just search EastEnders Weekly Podcast and click to join. And that was This Is Your Life, Lisa Fowler.
Right after that chat about Lisa, now feels like a good time to talk about the sequel to the 1990 film Titanic that we've all been waiting for.
I'm like, what?
Fish Tank.
Oh,
that reminds you of Titanic?
Well, only because someone posted a video on Twitter where they played the My Heart Will Go On to the stunt. That was a hell of a stunt. It was
multi-camera.
Multi-camera. Stunt double for Mel. It was a stunt double.
I know.
It was...
Why she needed a stunt double, there was a bit of glass, I guess.
The glass could have shattered, and shattered near her face and or eye.
Or in her flip-flops or something.
Was she wearing flip-flops?
I don't know.
That's a
probably
dangerous game to play.
prepared for the water, I would assume.
Have her armbands on.
But Mel, she's come to life. She's full action woman.
I know.
She's stitching up Hunter, giving him vodka, burning the end of a hot iron and sealing
Fixing
the wound.
Yeah. She's
auditioning for Lara Croft or what?
But she's doing all this on other people, not herself. She might not have the guts or the vigor to do it to herself, because she'd you know, that's a lot of pain she was inflicting on her own son. But she was doing it for the best.
Yeah, she's been very busy because she's getting fake passports, she's getting a gun, she's mending Hunter's leg, which I'm suspicious of next week that this injured leg is going to come into play.
But it's going to suddenly, like, he's going to have a spasm and be like,
sepsis.
Oh,
I'm predicting sepsis.
No, because he's got antibiotics. The whole reason that she flooded the NHS waiting room with this fish tank. I mean, again, it wasn't that big of a fish tank. Was it? That it was big. There was at least, half an inch of water?
We saw the behind the scenes video. It was a fish tank, so it must have been the water.
Yeah, but do you not think they added more water just for effect? Because there was a lot. There was a half an inch deep, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it was quite a large waiting room.
Like how all the patients were like really panicked.
I know.
And like, they're all escorted out.
Like all the electric goods were going to suddenly electrocute them from the floor.
Because she was at the hospital because she was trying to get pills for Hunter.
On the premise that she was going with Sharon for her ultrasound.
Being a nice friend for once.
Yeah, even though when Sharon was called in, she was like, "Are you coming, Mel?" Mel was like, "No."
No, I want to read a magazine.
Yeah, I want to break this fish tank. I need to get drugs.
Yeah, but did she get the right drugs? We didn't really know. She could have just picked up any.
I'm presuming she just looked for antibiotics and just went, yeah, that'll do. Generic. That'll keep him at bay.
His leg's still hurting at the end of the week, so I have a feeling that...
was it deeper, so it went into the muscle?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But there's a death next week. If Hunter's the only death next week, I'm going to be so annoyed.
Well, there's a death and there's a shooting.
And
everyone's associating one with the other, so they're thinking that someone dies from being shot. But there are rumours, ideas coming about now that perhaps someone dies.
Cleverly worded, isn't it?
Yeah, and there is a shooting.
Like there could be 2 deaths, but there is 1 death. But if it's Hunter, I'm going to be so annoyed because it was actually announced like 6 months ago that Hunter was coming back and he was going to be killed off. So if that's the big surprise, then well.
But then I think that they're being a bit canny at EastEnders recently. The way they're revealing things has been very selective, and they've specifically not revealed information. And to reveal something as big as that so early on that Hunter was going to die, I think it's a curveball.
There's something else.
And it's not Hunter. When they first released the photos way back at the beginning of the year, when they had the pictures of the tents in the forest and Ray and Mel and Hunter, and everyone said it's Hunter that's died, and it wasn't. It was Ray.
That's true.
And I think it's almost like they're doing it again, and they're doing it purposely again to make us think, oh, it's Hunter going to die this time. Oh, for sure, he's going to be him. So I feel like there's a curveball being thrown at us. And
but Hunter will die though. No.
No, but I'd like to think that it will be a really surprising, almost main, like a character, a main
Whitney.
character.
I do have fears for Whitney because I had these same feelings deep inside me 2 years ago when Abby fell off the roof, and I remember watching it at Christmas, and I love Abby. I'm talking about Abby again, and I thought they're going to kill her. I know they're going to kill her. And I just knew it like inside of me, and I was on digital spy forums, seeing what everyone's thinking. Maybe they'll kill Lauren, maybe they'll kill Max, but in the end, I should have kept with my gut. It was Abby that died.
But then I
have a Whitney feeling in me now.
A Whitney feeling. I mean, I think you feel that way though because you loved Abby so much, and I think that's why it felt so devastating at the time.
Yeah, but this is just type of thing that they would do.
But it felt unnecessary. I think the death this time will be more necessary. I think it's going to be an older character.
No.
I do.
Really?
Yeah.
What, like Ted or something? Or
yeah.
Patrick?
I do.
Cherie.
I do. No, I don't think they'll get rid of Cherie because I think Cherie and Denise, the story for them is going to be that they're going to find out that they're quite common, but then something's going to happen that Cherie is deliberately manipulating them. No, but I do think it's going to be an older character that's going to be killed off. I do, in almost like a line of fire way, like they got in the way by accident, like off when they were going up to the bar to get a drink or something stupid like that. They got in the way. And so it will be shocking, but not as shocking as if they got rid of a bigger character.
I was thinking maybe Whitney gets like shot because it's another reason for maybe Callum to stay with her longer. But she doesn't die.
I was going to say, if she gets
something like that,
if a character does get shot, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to die. It just means
Look
that
at Johnny.
Exactly. Johnny got shell-shocked, Johnny.
But yeah, maybe that something like that will happen. But anyway.
Back to Mel and Hunter. Oh, no.
Yeah.
There's our theories.
Fault.
If any of you guys got theories of who's going to get shot, who's going to die, and whether it's going to be one or the other or both are the same,
send it quick.
Send it quite quickly to us at EastEnders Weekly, at EastEnders Week on Twitter, or email eastendersweekly@gmail.com. We may read it out. We may not. See what happens.
But Mel's very busy with her planning, and she wants to get out of the country. Ben's like putting pressure on her because he wants to know where Lisa is. And she sort of gives him an old address, but it doesn't work, so he comes back for more. And she's like subtly saying goodbye to people, like Billy. She was like, "Oh, the club's busy." He was like, "I think I can handle it, Mel." And she's like, "Yeah, you can." Yeah,
again, the second and only time she's ever been kind to Billy is when she's now planning to leave Billy.
So that was her way of saying goodbye to him, I think, and be like, "You'll be all right, Billy, without me." And her and Sharon had like a little bit of a friendship.
I thought that was nice, and it was almost like Mel conceding that if we didn't have this really bad start where I threw cream on you on Easter, then perhaps we could have actually been really good friends. Yeah, we're quite similar actually. We both love our children.
That's it.
And that's it. We both had bad parents. No, we both would protect them, give them the world. So yeah, if we had a better start, perhaps we could have been better friends.
And she said goodbye to Amy as well.
Oh, that was sweet, actually.
Yeah. It was a nice touch as well, like Bernadette was babysitting. Like
they
didn't need to show that or do that, but it was just like a nice little Bernadette's here babysitting.
But you also, instead of Bernadette being like answering the door and then walking off, you actually saw Bernadette's temperament as babysitter, which I know is a silly thing to say, but that small touch just added that realism again. Like I said earlier on the show about E20 being busy, it added that realism. It was nice. It was really, again, a niche little touch.
I just thought, trying to tie what we went off tangent to this actual storyline, Amy came running downstairs saying, "What, is my dad okay?" Is that foreshadowing? Maybe Jack gets hurt.
Ooh.
Yeah, that ties it in. So we didn't go off tangent.
I mean, Jack has been rattling on all week about getting his job as a police officer again. It's like it's been an ongoing thing. Again, they're really stretching this out. He even asks Denise, doesn't he? He said, "What do you think?" And Denise just gave him a cheeky look like, try it. Go on.
Yeah, Detective Jack.
I said last week I'd like to see a police officer or a detective back on the square. It feels like 1985 again. Add a police officer.
Lives long enough.
Oh, he's been shot before. He was in a wheelchair for a year, wasn't he? He loves getting shot. He's got more holes than the colander.
But yeah, with Ben putting all the pressure on to Mel, he actually went into the squat den place
Well, he stole the key for the squat on George Street, didn't
No
he?
one knows how Mel got a key.
No, it's not the key to the squat. It's not the actual, key to the door to open the squat. It's the key to the padlock that's locked.
Oh,
so
she's used her own padlock.
Yeah,
I
so she's
see.
probably knocked off the old padlock.
Oh yeah, in her action hero ways.
Of course, she can also do kung fu, nurse, kung fu artist, everything, and she's probably added her own padlock.
I see.
I mean,
locked Hunter in.
Yeah, ever since the pregnancy of Cherry in that squat, it's been a bit of a cornered off area. So I think she's safe that no one else is going to turn up.
But Ben did.
Ben did.
Shame him and Hunter didn't meet because they've not met before. And
they'd have a few tales to tell, wouldn't they?
Ben might have been able to put a little sense into him, thinking, I've been here.
No, Ben would not, because Ben had one role and
yeah.
one goal, I should say, and that was to basically get Lisa and basically find his sister and her lover by association.
Keanu. No, Mel gave up a phone number for Lisa this time. Bit more information.
Well, first of all, it was the hospital that Lisa's no longer at.
Oh, yeah.
Then it was an address. I mean, why didn't Mel just give up the information in the first place? I mean, but
it's her best mate.
But Mel had so much. She had other things on her mind at that point. Really, let's be honest. Like, she was running around like a March hare, just getting everything sorted, like getting the drugs, getting the alcohol,
alleyway meeting,
getting passports. Yeah, getting fake passports. She knew what she was looking for as well. She opened them up. She was like, "These are good." Closed them off. Off they went. She knew what she was doing. I'd love to know the fake name she used for her and Hunter in the passports.
Oh yeah. Did she have a fake passport too?
Yeah, there were two. There were two fake passports.
Well, she needs one. Just so she's not caught, I guess.
Exactly, because they associate her with him. She's been very careful to cover her trail because she's also deleted the cache and the internet history on her laptop. So if the computer geniuses that met were to, hack into her computer. Yeah, Jack was to hack into, Mel 1.
Maybe Jack will be Mel's first booking. He has to arrest Mel. Well, he'll be like tormented, whether he should or not.
But this is the thing. This is the reason Hunter's out for revenge for Jack, because Jack was the one who got him in trouble in the first place.
He keeps eyeing up the gun in her handbag.
He does every time there's a scene of him like hugging Mel. You just see his eyes kind of drawn to this gun in her bag.
Yeah, and she also got a little word from the police as well, saying that Hunter escaped by actually causing like the fights and hurting one of the prison guards as well. So yeah, Hunter's not as innocent as Mel thinks, but she's still on Team Hunter, isn't she? Bless her.
She is. Well, Hunter didn't say he didn't do it, but he also didn't say he did. But he just said that everything he did during the skirmish was what he wanted to do to Jack. So again, showing his intent to Mel. But Mel seems to always laugh it off, doesn't she? He's like, "Oh, I'm going to kill Jack." Oh, don't be silly, my boy.
She's oblivious to him, isn't she? Always has been, and always will be.
I did love that Mel forgot the name of Hunter's rabbit, which is called Rabbit.
Mother of the Year.
Yeah, but would you forget the name of a rabbit? A toy rabbit's name was Rabbit. Would you forget that?
Oh, she was probably drinking wine at the time.
No, she's the only sober one there. Hunter's peed as a fart.
No, I mean back when Rabbit was alive. She was probably in a villa in Spain drinking wine.
Portugal, riding
Oh,
horses. She had to get back on the saddle. Get it right.
Yes, EastEnders the podcast. Right, next up we're going to move on to another mini storyline of Daniel Cook and Jean, in case you don't know who Daniel Cook is.
Yeah, no, it's a nice story actually between them two. It's nice that you're continuing to see their... I don't think it's going to be a relationship. I think it will. No, I think it's always destined now to be a friendship, a mutual friendship between them. But Mo gave it a good go to try to get a date out of him, didn't she?
She did. She also mentioned how for Elvis, I don't know how to say it, but enjoyed romantic times together for a long time.
Tumbles in bed. Yeah, it's like he would never say no.
And he went blow after blow.
he would.
That's what he said. But Mo, I like Mo. She's being funny this week. She's good. And she sort of talked to Daniel Cook. She didn't know that Jean knew him. She just happened to talk to him. It was one of those things. Weirdly, I think she kind of knew Daniel through Jean. Yeah. But she couldn't quite click that this was who Jean was talking about. Yeah. So Jean had spoken about Daniel, obviously, to her, but perhaps hadn't quite worked out that this guy who was in the cafe waiting for Jean was the Daniel. On his motorbike as well. He was. I didn't know Aid Amundsen could ride. Not Mo, the motorcycle. Right. But might have been a stunt double. No, it wasn't. Like them. No, because he wasn't wearing a helmet. It wasn't like when Carol
drove off into the sunset. When she, like, 1 minute you see her on the motorcycle, her helmet down, and she just drove off.
That's
and then
true.
Carol the stunt double happened. No, he was there with no helmet on. Well, maybe he was wearing a helmet, because I don't think they would allow someone to drive a motorcycle.
Oh, you could see their faces though. They were just little helmets.
Plain as day.
But he kept mentioning like, "Oh, we're married" as a joke. So do you not think that's where this is heading? That was your prediction last week, and I thought when you said it, it sounds about right. On his deathbed, them getting married.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was your prediction. You've forgotten?
No, I hadn't forgotten. It's just that I don't think it's the case. I think it's just going to be a friendship with them. No. Maybe, but I don't see the benefit unless he says right at the end, like, I'm quite rich, and I want the
tragedy of it though, because they're obviously not going to kill Jean, so I think they're using the emotional strings that way, I guess.
It will be tragic. I mean, you really have invested in Jean and Daniel quite quickly. And
I don't know. I'm not.
Oh, really? Yeah. I have. I really have. I like the way that there was that gentle kind of touching of the hands at the table this week as well, where Jean was, again, just friendly, comforting him when they were just talking about how mutually they're quite beneficial with each other.
Yeah, I don't know. I just not really clicked with Daniel. He's a bit like nothing. I kind of phase off when he's on screen.
I mean, I think I'm objective a little bit because it's Aid Edmondson, and
true.
I love Adrian Edmondson, and I think he is just a fantastic person, and I'm super impressed to see him in a role like this, because I've not really seen him in a serious role. I know he was on Holby City for quite a while.
Probably. Most people are.
One of them. But I know he was on something like that, not quite a while back now, but he was on it for a good time, like a year or so. But I've only ever seen him in comedy or doing a cookery show on ITV, and he's part of my tapestry. I will always remember him as Eddie on Bottom and Vivian on The Young Ones. He will always be in my heart for that. So
now he's Daniel Cook,
now he's Daniel Cook. And so I think when he got emotional last week in the BBC cafeteria / hospital, I genuinely welled up myself. He made me kind of feel for him, and with that scene I think that was what connected me with him and with Jean. And I love Jean, so any character that kind of goes with Jean as well is going to be a friend of mine.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know what it is with this storyline. Like when it was announced I was really like, it's going to be really emotional, make me really sad, but I've just been a bit, I don't know, am I allowed to say bored with a cancer storyline? I can't really say that, but that's how I feel.
I think if it was any storyline, despite it being cancer in this occasion,
I was just a bit like, I'm not, I don't know, something seems missing. Maybe background music.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I needed.
There you go. So last week you were complaining about it, and this week you're wanting it.
I don't want it back. We did think it was back when Whitney looked at Callum at E20. Our heart stopped, but it was because she was in E20, so it's allowed.
Of course, because there's music playing in E20.
It wasn't back.
It's the same with the Vic or the cafe. They're allowed music.
Right, let's move on to a short little game before we finish up the week. We are back with another edition of Slater Family Values.
Slag.
Just a total slag.
Not a little bit though.
Yes, this is a game where you have to link up two characters from EastEnders. A bit of 6 degrees of separation, because everyone in Wolford is related somehow.
They really are. It's a breeding ground of inbreds.
The longer the show's on, the easier the game becomes. So this time I have chosen 2 characters for you. So you have to tell me ways that they are linked together through family, storylines,
friendship,
character traits, murder, anything that links them to a character. And you have 30 seconds to do so.
Right, I'm ready.
So are you ready for your 2?
I am.
I want you to link Martin Fowler, lovely old Martin.
Your boyfriend, the one you gush over, some kind of weird man crush you have over him.
To Tina Carter. And as the game's gone on, there's bonus points now included, just to jazz it up a bit. So if you can include Bernadette Taylor in the mix, you get a bonus point. So yeah, Martin Fowler to Tina Carter, bonus point if you can put Bernie in the mix, somewhere between the 6. Okay?
Mix in the 6.
Yeah, so your time starts now.
Okay, so the obvious link is Sonia here, so I need to throw her in. So I'm going to say Martin is the son of Pauline Fowler. Oh yeah, dig it. Pauline had a falling out with Peggy Mitchell. Her and Peggy weren't particularly very good friends over the mark issue. Right. Is that okay? Is that link?
I said 30 seconds, but it's actually 60 seconds, so you're halfway.
Of course, okay. Peggy had a grandson who I forget the name of and died in the car crash. Martin hit him. Oh, what's it called? Oh, come on. Peggy had it was Billy's son or Billy's stepson. Oh, what's his name?
Jamie.
Jamie. Peggy Jamie. There's a link there somehow. Jamie dated Sonia. Sonia also dated Tina Carter.
No, that's not enough. That's 5 steps.
No. Martin Fowler, Pauline, Peggy, Janine, Sonia, Tina.
Janine? You didn't even say Janine.
Jamie. Sorry, it was my handwriting. Was I writing it down?
No.
Martin, Pauline, Peggy, Jamie, Sonia, Tina.
No. Plus you're out of time.
Okay, fine, whatever.
Do you want to know the 6 that I had, which was a bit more coherent than that?
And also didn't have me panicking trying to remember someone's name. Yeah, go on.
Right,
is Bernie in yours?
No.
So you do this. You throw in, you get a bonus point if you get Bernie.
That's because people at home like to play and they can throw in a Bernie themselves for extra points.
Everyone wants to throw in a Bernie.
Yes.
A Bernie bonus.
So I've got Martin, married to Stacey, obviously.
Well, I thought that was too easy to start from there.
Stacey has a child with Ryan. Ryan is Whitney's brother. Whitney was married to Lee. Lee's father is Mick. Mick's sister is Tina.
Yeah.
Very different.
Very good. It took a much different route. I went the Bill route.
You put Peggy in there, which confused everything, I think.
Well, because I was trying to get Peggy. Because I knew Peggy and Sonia were close. Because the Mitchells...
Yeah, but the Carters and Peggy didn't cross over.
No, it didn't really work out very well.
Well, let me know at home if you guys can do it better.
With Bernie.
Time yourself as well, please.
60
seconds. With Bernie, you get an extra point and we'll read your name out and shame Alex next week.
I mean, they could do a recording if they wanted to, of them doing it so then we know they did it within 60 seconds. Send us an audio recording. We'll post it. We'll post it. We'll put it on the show.
Yeah, why not?
Send it on...
Collaboration.
yeah, we'll have you on the show. Twitter, @EastEndersWeek, or you can email it to us, eastendersweekly@gmail.com.
Yeah, email us so it's private.
Oh, yes.
Or DM us. Slide into our DMs.
Yeah, we like to take a deep dive into our DMs, don't we?
Right. So there you go. You failed at Slater Family Values. Okay, we have the continuing...
Is it okay, Ben?
What, my ribs? No, still hurt.
Do they?
Need more pills.
Do you need some paracetamol? Have you downgraded?
And some skinny jeans.
Yeah. A cool
and
top.
Pro Plus.
A mod-like top as well, just to keep you in with the kids, the young guns.
Yes. This storyline taken directly from Miranda. Not a coincidence, we've just watched Miranda, so it's fresh in my mind. But yeah, Max is trying to keep up with young, healthy, fit Ruby, not really succeeding.
Well, no, she's got a business meeting with 2 people who can be only described as pretentious.
Hipsters.
And yeah.
Why did she bring him with her anyway? Like, it's her business.
Well, it's her partner, yeah, but it's her boyfriend, isn't it? So he's kind of like there to kind of be moral support.
She bring Lola with her like she used to.
Well, no, because Lola upstaged her, didn't she? So maybe that's why she brought Max, because she knew that Max wouldn't upstage her.
But then got upset because he didn't.
Well, no, she got upset because he was making really lame old jokes and also comparing like parts of London to how he remembered that used to be a meat district or that used to be a bingo room, and just Max basically showing his age a little bit. And they dragged themselves in after an all-nighter. Max feeling a bit sore because he's being called a granddad by someone.
Yawning.
Yeah, yawning.
She's ready to go again.
I mean, I'm sorry, Ruby, but no, I call ball on this because I was young once too. Believe
you sound
it or
like
not.
Max now.
I know, I am. But I would be 20 years old. I'd be up all night, having a great time, going, coming tumbling back home.
Details.
Tumbling back home at like 6, 7 in the morning after spending the whole night
swimming.
out. No, not going swimming or going to a business meeting, having a shot of coffee down the cafe. No, I'd get into bed and sensibly have a few hours sleep before starting the day. Knowingly that obviously on a work night, perhaps things would be a bit different, but still, maybe I was old before my time at 20.
These millennials, they're more hardworking than you.
But they got the FOMO, haven't they? Fear of missing out all the time. They feel like they're going to miss something if they have an hour's kip. No, have that hour's kip.
But it does take really take something for someone to make Max look half decent, and that kind of happened this week when Ruby and him did they break up? They did break up, didn't they?
I mean, we've never been
a Ruby breakup.
Yeah, we've never been a big ambassador for Ruby, and we're certainly not big ambassadors for Max.
No,
but the fact that Ruby acted such like a brat this week, like a silly child. I felt a bit bad for Max.
I know, and I don't like that either.
No.
That's not good.
That's not a situation I want to be in.
Yeah, because he fell asleep while looking after toddler Abby. And That's her new name.
You going to trademark that as well?
Yeah. And so he just said to Ruby, "Oh, I don't want that to happen again. It was a bit dangerous. Can I maybe have an evening off?" And then she went, "Oh, we'll just end it forever then," and walked off.
Yeah, she said, well, let's slow it down to a halt, and off she went, stormed off like a child, like a brat. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, she did that to Jay as well, and when Jay really hadn't done much wrong, supported her throughout her very difficult time when she was first came into the soap. So Ruby is just becoming incredibly unlikable.
No wonder she wasn't invited to the hen do.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't invite
The only
her.
one not invited.
And yet, I'm surprised you didn't just turn up.
Bought some champagne for everyone and left.
Yeah. Well, no.
It's all on me.
Yeah. Look at how rich I am. I've got a business. Yay.
But we had the other half of the Branning relationships because we had Rainie still with her bad ribs.
She has. Not her ribs that you buy from TGI Fridays.
No.
Her actual ribs in her body.
And she's still taking the pills. Like, she turned the house upside down, the Bill house.
Yeah, I know.
Because Kathy just left her.
When Kathy came home. Because, I mean, Kathy's not her pimp anymore. She's not pushing her drugs anymore.
She's bored now, isn't she, Kath?
Yeah.
Moved on. Another business, probably.
And she also called Rainie out for being a bit of a druggie. And it's like, come on, Kathy, you did do it out of sympathy. You pushed her into getting them in the first place. Because Stuart's taken them away, and now Rainie's on the soft stuff. She's on the paracetamol. She's on the mould in the petri dish. She's just having a few paracetamol here and there. And she's now starting to complain about her ribs. And this worries Stuart somewhat because now he thinks she's taken up drinking.
Yeah, and he sniffed her drink, didn't he? But I'm assuming this storyline's going to escalate with her addiction. I guess this is where we're going.
Oh, I don't. I think it's just going to... Because she's deliberately trying to wind Max up, isn't she? In the club, she was making out with...
Stuart.
God, I do sound like an old man. She was having kisses with Stuart. And
yeah, that sounds better.
and she was doing it on purpose to make Max jealous. So she's obviously got this obsession with Max still. And it's going to eventually come out, especially if Stuart keeps on badgering her. I mean, Stuart's doing this kind of good act round Rainie where he's checking everything she does and getting rid of the pills. And that's going to grind on Rainie, because you know what Rainie's like. She doesn't like to be checked up on.
No, she likes her freedom. This has got to go somewhere. Like, they can't just have these two characters become nice. That's the last thing we wanted.
Well, Rainie and Stuart. They won't be, though. I don't think that's where it's heading. Like I say, their relationship is dangerous, and it's going to have... Yeah, the only way they'd work is if they have this really dangerous relationship. And at the moment, it's Rainie just trying to make Max jealous all the time. So Rainie's clearly doesn't really like Stuart that much, I don't think. She's
do you not think?
No, I don't. Because when Stuart first wanted to have a relationship with Rainie, way back a month ago, she was quite resistant to it.
He's just a dependable on her, isn't he, I guess?
Well,
he's their old reliable, so she's like, okay, I'll use you for now until something better comes on. But Max is too tired to care, so...
Well, Max, quite rightly, again, another tick in Max's positive box. Max is taking the right paths in my book. He talks to baby Abby, says, I've been a bit
Toddler
of a pillar. Toddler Abby. Says, I've been a bit of a wally, he says to Abby, and he's decided that he's going to now concentrate on what's important. Something that Jack has been saying to him all week. Concentrate on what's important. Realise what's important to you. And that's Toddler Abby.
I don't know. I don't know what I want from Max. I don't want Toddler Abby. Don't want him in Wolford East. Don't want him with Ruby. Don't want him with Rainie. Not fussed about him and Jack being partners. So I don't know what I want with Max, I'm afraid.
Well, if you don't know what you want, you might as well just move on. If you can't add anything to this conversation.
Well, I just don't like Max. Don't like talking about Max. I've slagged off Ruby, so I'm done.
Tick, tick, tick.
So next up we have the perfect way to come out, I feel, with Iqra.
Yeah, Iqra was she did it suddenly twice, didn't she? Once just said it, just threw it out
Ripped
there.
off the bandage.
Yep, just said it, and then the second time just showed it to the world.
Yeah, because Habiba sort of gave her a little pep talk and said maybe you should just tell Marium and Arshad. So that's what she did. She arranged Ash to come over. Because
she had mentioned that she is the queen of sneaking around with her relationship with Adam as of late. So she's...
Oh, yeah. She knows.
So she knows it hurts. Yeah, it hurts people. So there's no reason to carry on with it.
But yeah, she told them and they were like, okay, I'm going to get on with cooking. Glad you're happy, Iqra. And that was it, really. I think
there was more to it than just that.
Because Marium gave a look. Arshad looked happy.
Arshad didn't mind. He didn't care. That was it. He was happy that she was happy. That was the end. But no, Marium was devastated. She put on a brave face. Yeah, but she was devastated by it. I don't think she hates it. I don't think she's angry.
She's disappointed.
Yeah, she's just disappointed. I just think that I don't know, this is something that's new to her, maybe, or something. I don't know. I think I don't think it confused her either. It was difficult to gauge it, really, but it was almost just swept under the carpet.
Yeah, like
there was
you
no...
didn't say that.
Yeah. But there was no kind of investigation by the characters either. Like, I almost half expected it to be continued on Friday, where you saw Marium and Arshad having a conversation about it,
or it
privately.
Followed her into the kitchen or something. And
they privately kind of just discussed it between them, because I think Arshad noticed as well that Marium was a bit not off. This is the thing. She wasn't off. She wasn't cruel. She wasn't nasty about it.
But she wasn't happy.
No,
either.
She was surprised, but even then she wasn't. It was, I don't know. The reaction to her just seemed a bit puzzled, if you know what I mean. Just seemed a bit confused. Not even confused. It's difficult to say.
Because Iqra did mention it to Ash at E20 when they were going in. She mentioned that wasn't sure how like Marium took it. So Iqra did notice, but Ash was just like, it is what it is.
Well, you said it now. You can't take it back, so you might as well just carry on. I mean, Ash is very confident, isn't she? She's very like, this is her, isn't it? She's just kind of like, this is me, you take it or you leave it. Well, Iqra's still a bit worried about what people think about her, what people may say. But she's getting better. I think Ash is very good for Iqra.
And we learn like a lot about Ash. She's a doctor.
Yes. She has brothers.
Yes. She's Sikh.
She's Sikh. Almost the CV of some characters that might be introduced very soon.
She has brothers who aren't doctors, but they're good in other business.
But they're successful in other fields.
Yeah. So it has to be. It must be her brothers that are joining the show. I'm assuming, which is cool because Ash is good. I like Ash; she's a good character. So need a doctor on the square for Sonia to look up to.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't take much, but she did shoot Robbie down, so that's always fun as well.
Oh yeah, creepy Robbie was back.
He's just...
with Mitch again.
But him and Mitch seem to suit each other, don't they? But again, it's just like the three wise monkeys, isn't it? It's like Mitch, Robbie, and Mick, and they're really just not fun to watch.
Don't like Robbie, but he got the surprise of his life because like Ash was ready to be like, oh, I can't be bothered to meet your friends because you're just pretending I'm a friend. So she came out to everyone all at once in the E20 and gave her a kiss. Karen liked it; she enjoyed it. Big Mo enjoyed it too.
But there was wolf whistling and all kinds of things. There was wolf whistling and all kinds of stuff going on.
Sequins.
I think Tina's going to be a bit upset because you could tell that she quite liked Ash when Ash walked in and got herself a drink.
One of her tribe.
Yeah. Although she's always got, if Tina's ever, if Tina ever wants to go after someone, we now know that Whitney, all she has to do is get a few beers inside of her and she'll go to Tina.
That was a great line from Whitney, wasn't it? I'll get a keg and give
Tina a
knock.
Yeah.
Very good. Shona was very good this week, Whitney. My top performance of the week.
Yeah, we enjoyed Shona.
Tony Clay, Callum was second for me.
Anything to do with Ballum, let's be honest.
They're very good.
The Ballum circus continues and it's all fun. One last thing, Jack is desperate for money as well. Desperate and asking Honey and Adam for the money for the mortgage.
But they're not sure they can get it.
They have to be re-interviewed because they made the ultimate mistake of just leaving without finishing off the paperwork or their little jaunt away.
Well, yeah, they keep moaning they don't have much money, and then they went on that weird holiday, which didn't really go anywhere either. They sort of just went on holiday and then appeared again.
Because everyone thought that Honey was going to like do something, like some kind of trap.
Murder him.
Something, or embarrass him. Yeah. Like they're actually going to film the scenes away from the square of them on their holiday. But no, they just came back, talked about Pilates with Ruby or whatever, and just that was the end of it.
Yeah, very bizarre, wasn't it?
But
stopped again, the storyline, doesn't it? It keeps stopping and starting.
I know.
We were really getting there, and then it's just stopped.
Yeah, but now the Habiba thing has ended. Again, it's kind of what's to do with Adam and Honey now.
That's true.
Because that was really what was motivating the story. I suppose perhaps Habiba. But again, I hope that for Habiba's character, that's not, again, all she's going to be known for. It's going to go back to doing it. She has such a sloppy
face on all the time. And it was nice to see her having fun this week.
Yeah.
And she she said to Ash, you're fit. If I was that way, there'd be competition. It's a bit of fun, but need more fun, Habiba, not her mopey old.
Yeah, we need to see the party
face.
Habiba. Yeah.
Right, so that was the week wrapped up in a stag bow. Does that work?
No, not really. That was quite painful to listen to as well. I mean, did everyone enjoy the week?
A full flock of hens, that was.
Well done. If everyone enjoyed the week, let us know by getting in touch with us. And that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to read out your tweets, your comments that you sent to us on our social medias, your emails, and we're going to see what happened this time a few years back as we go into Who Won the Week.
You know me, I ain't one to gossip.
Thank you, Dot. So, as is always this time of the episode, before we go through with the vote and the tweets and the comments and the messages, we speak to Ben, jump into his little time hole and find out what happened this time a few years back.
We do. But before that, as always, we have celebrations of births and deaths on the square which may have been missed this week. And all of them have been missed. So, first up, 27th of August 1973, Sandra DeMarco was born.
Sandra DeMarco?
No one cares about her, do they?
Was she the...
I don't know.
I don't know.
One of the sisters.
Oh.
I guess. Or someone who's married, I don't know.
So it wasn't the mum, the one who had the grey flecks in her hair?
She dead.
She did.
And this Sandra wasn't marked as dead, so it can't be her.
Okay.
Next up, which surprises me, Sharon, not very impressed with this. Dennis Rickman was born 28th of August 1974.
Oh, her half-brother?
Yeah, Denny's real dad. 31 he died at the age of 2005.
Well, there's hope for me yet.
So, yeah, didn't bother mentioning him to Dennis, is she? She's busy having baby scans.
Well, she's having a baby with someone else, isn't she? You think she kind of maybe...
Reminisced about it.
Yeah, think about it.
Right, 26th of August 1980, Joe Wicks was born. Yeah, him.
Yeah.
28th of August 1987, another Max. Max could have mentioned this. Bradley was born.
Oh, was he?
Max don't care.
Bradley was born. Bradley's dead as well.
He died aged 22.
God, this wasn't a good time for births, was it?
No, all dead. 31st of August 1996, we had Jordan Johnson, who was born.
Jordan, he's in jail.
Is he in jail now?
Well,
oh yeah, because he tried to help Thingy escape, didn't he?
He's the one
Lucas.
who Ben said needed smacking down.
Yeah.
Slapping down, sorry.
He could have come back for his birthday, couldn't he?
You need slapping down. Oh goodness, yeah. You think Ben would mention that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Remember when I threatened a kid with a spanner?
We only had one death this week in August, and that was Jace Dyer on the 28th of August 2008. And that was Jay's real dad.
Yeah. Again, surprising Jay didn't mention
Jay
it.
does he? He's busy getting drunk.
Yeah, but not the whole week.
No. But
I mean, you let Callum have all that time off gallivanting for a funeral. Maybe Jay should have taken some time off for himself and
think of Jace.
Yeah, gone to see Jace's grave. His tomb.
Right, so seeing as it's wedding season, luckily I chose an episode which was on the 27th of August 1997,
Ooh.
and it was a wedding.
Hooray!
Couldn't even make this up, could you?
It's like everyone gets married in the summertime for some bizarre reason.
So this wedding was Grant Mitchell and Tiffany.
Oh,
so Bianca
Tiff.
was involved.
Oh, Tiff.
Bianca stole the duff, I might say.
Did she? What a selfish cow.
I'm assuming she's going to be stealing some duffs next week, so
she's going to pull some duffs out of her. She really is.
So yeah, they're getting married, and Grant and Tiffany are going to Paris for the honeymoon.
That's nice. That's a nice place to go.
No, it's not.
Oh.
Because at the same time, Ricky and Phil are up to dodgy deals, and they're also tagging along with Grant and Tiffany, but Tiffany doesn't know.
Hang on, 97. Was there a tournament of some sort happening then? Football?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
It's like some dodgy money deal that Phil's doing, so he's tagging along with Grant.
He's doing it even then?
Yeah, with Ricky. But Tiffany doesn't know.
He always chooses a grease monkey, doesn't he, old Phil? He can never do a job for himself. He always has to get someone who works at his blooming garage for him.
Peggy is meant to be coming to the wedding, but her flight's been delayed. But Aunt Sal has stepped in to do all the things that Peggy should be doing.
We should know this because that was a question on gameplay quite recently.
Yeah.
Where I asked you when was Aunt Sal on screen.
We've also got Bianca, who thinks she might be pregnant because she's a bit late. But she's also been busy, so that might be why she's late.
Well, she's late for the train? I don't understand, Ben. What do you mean she's late?
If you don't understand, then you don't deserve to know.
I miss those lessons at school.
A side note here, Tiffany's like a beloved character everyone loves.
Yeah, I love Tiffany.
Well,
Marty McCutcheon.
I was watching this episode and she was like really annoying. She was putting on this weird, like, annoying voice. Like a sweetie pie voice.
Dare you?
Yeah.
Is this the Pete Bill effect?
I think it is.
A character that's fondly loved and remembered.
But watching back, actually, you're really annoying.
Yeah, maybe with rose tinted glasses.
Because she gets angry on the way to the wedding, of course, with Grant because she finds out that he has booked the same hotel in Paris that he took some cheap tart Sharon to a few years ago.
Oh, doesn't surprise me. That Sharon sounds like a right piece of trash.
Yeah, blonde tart.
Yeah,
flag.
She's wearing that bebop jumper again.
But she decides to forgive him and they do get married in the end. And this is also when he says, he says something like, "Oh, but there's 4 of us going. You can't just book a new hotel." And she was like, "What do you mean 4?" So he goes, "Oh, Phil and Kathy are coming." So she agrees.
Still with Kathy then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Goodness me.
I know.
God, that was his longest relationship.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah,
she
it
still
was.
looks young. Actually, she looks quite old in 97. She looks older then than she does now. She's got a really old haircut.
Fountain. She found a fountain when she was in South Africa. We've already discussed this already.
That's true. But as weddings go, it was quite boring. They just got married. Peggy interrupted it as they're going down the altar. She turned up with all her luggage, so she did make it.
Brilliant.
She'd been out to visit Sam, I think, to tell her about her breast cancer, because she comes back and says thank you to Mark Fowler for talking to her and helping her deal with something.
Yeah, because that's when they kind of build a relationship, isn't it? Yeah. Interesting fact about the cancer storyline for Peggy, if I may.
Okay, fine.
Something that's always stuck in my mind, and I don't know why, but there's a presenter. We've actually met her when we went to the Q&A with Lorna Fitzgerald.
Oh, and Anita Dobson.
Yeah, Sally Taylor. Sally Taylor. And she's hosted the local news programme down south, South Today, since the year dot. She's been hosting it, well, probably the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And she had breast cancer, and she did a documentary on BBC South about it. And the BBC used that documentary for EastEnders to show
like an insert.
As an insert, yeah.
Oh.
And they did like a special report about it on the BBC local South News.
When Peggy watched it, or like was watching.
She was watching it, yeah. So she was watching this documentary that she had made for BBC South, because we have anyone outside the UK, we have regional television, and where we live, we have Meridian and TV South.
That's a spoiler for where we live.
Oh yeah, wait, it's quite a large area.
The South.
yeah, we live perhaps in the South.
And then, like I said, Bianca steals the duff of this wedding, because it's a bit boring wedding, because she takes her pregnancy test to get her mind off of it, and she is in fact pregnant.
Is that the duff?
Yeah, my notes end saying boring wedding.
Is that what you took out of it?
Yeah,
I think the shock was Bianca's pregnant.
Yeah, but I don't care. And Ricky said a few lines because he had to hold Tiff's baby. Can't remember her name. Michelle? No, what's her name? Courtney. He had to hold Courtney, and he said to Bianca, "Oh, thank God I'm not a dad." And she was like, all upset and worried because Ricky said that.
Oh no!
So
isn't that kind of what happened with Callum and Whitney?
No, you're thinking of Hollyoaks.
Right. Oh,
we
God.
just watched that.
Oh, don't put that in my mind.
But,
Tony died in Hollyoaks.
Allegedly.
The only original character of Hollyoaks
dead.
died.
He's not dead.
Got killed.
He's not dead.
He's dead. He got stabbed by a screwdriver.
That mean nothing.
By what's her name? The mass murderer.
Breeder. I think.
The one who's
Brenda.
Anyway, that's got nothing to do with nothing. Okay.
He's not dead though.
This isn't a Hollyoaks Weekly.
Yeah, rubbish wedding, and I hope that Callum and Whitney's is better than that.
Oh, it will be. I predict fireworks. Predict exciting things ahead. Talking of exciting things ahead, we have 2 characters returning next week, as we know. We do. Well, if this is a spoiler to anyone, I apologise, but it really shouldn't be.
Janine Butcher.
Yeah, Janine.
And Liam.
Janine and Liam. You're adamant Liam's coming in. That's another one you think is going to be a shock drop.
I've been looking at his Instagram.
Obviously not as hot
He's not coming back.
Oh, okay. Where is he?
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Off mic.
Oh, right. If you guys want to know, find his Instagram, I guess. So Bianca's coming back, of course, and Lisa's coming back. And because I didn't want to do another Who Won the Week, because we all know who will win Who Won the Week, it would be Ben Mitchell. So I thought, let's instead...
Callum or Whitney would win.
Well, Callum, Ben Mitchell and Whitney.
No, not Ben.
But Ben would take it as a win. See, he bookmarks our show now. We talk about him at the beginning, and we talk about him at the very end. The Twitter handle, yeah.
The official Ben Mitchell
Twitter
Twitter account.
Hey you, hello. The camp one's talking to you today. So Bianca is coming back and Lisa is coming back. And we asked everyone on Twitter, Instagram and our Facebook page who you were most looking forward to coming back, Bianca or Lisa. We didn't give you the option for both, which was a bit cruel. But
can't choose both.
I just wanted to cut it down the middle and see what the answer would be. So who do you think most people are excited for?
Bianca. Because it's more of a shock.
Yeah, I suppose it's more exciting the fact that they were able to pull Patsy Palmer in to do a short stint as her role. And it's true. It's 78% said Bianca, 22% said Lisa.
Not too bad.
No, a few comments. At Vin Cornelius said, my heart says B, but I have to go with Lisa.
Why?
Who knows? That's all
Think of his brain, not
says.
his heart.
What, her heart?
Yeah.
We don't know. At Moxilla Ridge says, I find Lisa boring.
Oh.
I mean, what's boring about her?
No. She's like, she could be boring, but like she isn't actually boring.
But she's so
like one of them.
high tense. You know, like every scene you feel a bit like, ooh, something's going to happen. Ooh, she's going to go a bit crazy. At BornSlippy96 says, can't wait to see Bianca and Tiff interact. I think those scenes are going to be really touching.
It will be good, because they've not really acted together since Tiff was like little.
Very young. With the Jackson 5 promo.
Oh, God.
And also, I think it's about time Bianca kind of stepped up and mothered her daughter.
Like 3 weeks.
Like all good mothers should. And at EE Butcher X says, love Lisa, but definitely Bianca.
That was kind of a both. So that's not allowed.
Okay. Fair enough. We've had a few comments, obviously, as usual, about the show itself. Would you like to hear them?
No. Yeah, okay. Go on.
Well, I was going to go ahead anyway.
As long as they're not about Robbie.
I'm literally looking at them right now and seeing if they are. They're not. At 12345 Ice Queen on Twitter says, Stuart whines how much he has changed, like everyone should bend over and forgive him, just because he does things a decent normal human being would do anyway.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It is true, isn't it?
He's just doing regular stuff like saying hello to people. And everyone's like, wow.
Yeah, no, he's changed. Look at him. He's got the halo on his head. Ashley87731012 on Twitter says, I can't get behind Stuart. He takes one step forward and then takes 1,000 steps back.
Yeah, he's beating up Ben. Ben's going to end up with like a brain injury. Like Lucy, he's getting hit in the face.
I know, he does get hit in the head a lot, doesn't he? I mean, is that where he's going to die? It's like just an aneurysm. That
eventually.
Yeah. Slow battering of the brain.
Yeah.
Another one about Stuart. At Okoalite09 says, Stuart is a great addition to EastEnders. Mick, on the other hand, has become so boring. His stories are always the same. Money and marriage problems.
He is boring. And like, he's acting this like anxiety thing really annoying. Like, every time it just looks like he's having a heart attack.
I know.
It's like an illness. Like he's in pain, but like, that's not an anxiety attack. It's really weird. I don't like it.
Yeah, he kind of
I just can't be bothered to watch it. Yeah.
Doesn't he? Like
he's always looking around, and it's like
panicked. It's like you think there'd be like a cold sweat on him or something, and it's not. He just kind of he collapses all the time with it, and I don't think that.
I know, it's weird, isn't it?
He needs to sit down. He just needs to sit down and think about things. Chrissy on Facebook says, Jean and Daniel make a lovely couple. Let them enjoy the short time they have together. Ron on Facebook says, Callum isn't the type to carry on behind Whitney's back. It makes sense that he would confess.
He's a good guy, isn't he?
He's a good guy. And I agree. I think that was somewhat not surprising that should happen.
Secret's out now, so now what? So much more.
Well, Whitney's got her boy and she's going to keep him. She's hers.
At any cost.
At any cost. It's her possession.
She'll get shot and she'll pretend that she's really ill and she's not, just to keep her man. That's my prediction. Another prediction I'm throwing out there for next week. Throwing all of them out there.
You might as well.
Stuart gets shot in the Vic where he shot someone a year ago.
He shot himself a year ago.
And he gets shot in the Vic again this year.
Stuart's going to shoot himself again just for a bit of fun. And Linda will hold a microphone in her hair again. At Ryan Wrights 97 on Twitter, I've felt for a while, and even more so with what Whitney said tonight, that all this is leading to a who killed Ben story. Or who shot Ben, I suppose you could say.
I think who shot Ben, especially with Lisa being back. It just sounds fun.
Yeah.
Because they brought Dan Sullivan back like last time for the who shot. He was like a suspect, but he was only brought back to be a suspect. Maybe that's what they've done with Lisa.
Yeah. To just add the numbers up a little bit. Because Lisa's about for a while, isn't she? So it's not like she's just coming and going just overnight.
Yeah. Who shot Ben? Live episode 35th anniversary.
Oh no, that's a long way
and it's
away.
Whitney that did it.
No,
she can take the crown from Stacey as like the new icon with her red hair and leopard print.
What? And Callum's going to jump from the roof?
No.
Yeah, but this is what you're writing, Ben.
No, I'm not rewriting everything exactly.
You're saying
same.
I wanted to be the same. I want to take the crown from Sonia.
No, not Sonia.
Sorry, Stacey.
No, but like
maybe Sonia will jump off the roof. I'm a nurse. And I have to read this one out because I've been asked to. We.Gaza on Instagram says, I loved it. The Ballum story and Iqra story. Please say something about me on tonight's episode. So say something about him.
What did he love?
He loved Ballum story and the Iqra story.
They're the two good storylines, so I agree with him.
No, but say something about him. He wants you to say something about him.
I've not seen his Instagram. What's on his Instagram?
I don't know. Say he's got nice hair.
He's very supportive of the LGBT community.
There you go. Hope you like that. On our social medias, we also asked on Instagram and our Facebook, what was your favourite stories from Bianca and Lisa. And we've had a few replies. I'm just going
Ooh.
to read them through. On Instagram, 4 girls, 1 boy on Run said, Bianca is dope. I loved her friendship with Tiff, the loss of her and Ricky's baby, and the funeral of Tiff. Lisa and Mark was so sweet together, and I wanted her to go with him and Lou. Her recent mental health stint was great, and who could forget Who Shot Phil? All good stories, I concur. And I completely forgot about the losing Ricky's baby, the loss of the child.
Maybe that was one I just talked about.
I think it was, yeah. EastEnders._ on Insta says, my favourite Bianca moment was probably when her and Jane had a good fight in the Vic, and Lisa was the recent stint in 2017. Lucy was phenomenal. _Casey._XX on Insta says, I loved the scenes between Kat, Bianca and Mr. Lister. Those were the days. Mr. Lister was the market inspector. Yeah.
Gosh.
He was the voice of, I think I've said this before, he was the voice of Double Dare.
Ooh.
Kids game show hosted by Peter Simon.
That's nice.
Yeah. Again, childhood memory.
Kat and Bianca had a really good friendship, so you can't forget that. I hope they mention it like on her return.
Same. Becky Brinklow on Insta says, Bianca and Dan's affair being exposed. Forgot about that affair.
Yeah. Was that with Carol?
I think they shared quite a few. Yeah. They shared quite a few men. Yeah, you're right. EastEnders Nostalgia said, when Bianca found out David was her dad, there's a long video on YouTube showing the aftermath of it, and it's so good and underrated.
Yeah, it's like a really like taboo storyline, wasn't it? But yeah, lots of people I know that really like that storyline. At
Jamie Coleman T and at Haley_Coral_XX both simply put Ricky.
Of course.
And we're going to end it with this one because I thought this was a really lovely story. Richard Gold on our Facebook group said, this isn't a storyline per se, but I used to go by Ricky as a nickname and grew up watching EastEnders in the 90s thanks to a VHS tape chain because the show wasn't available on TV where I lived in the Midwest. That's in the United States.
Gosh, VHS. Tape chain. Of EastEnders in America.
You had a go at me.
How did it even get there?
How did it even travel that way?
Amazing.
And no one could understand my obsession with this obscure British soap opera.
Ricky!
When I finally fulfilled a lifelong dream of moving to London in the early 2000s, people would meet me, they'd immediately get a big grin on their face and shout, Ricky! And I knew I'd finally found my place on this earth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great story, isn't it? I love that.
I hope it was worth it coming to London.
I hope you're still enjoying good old Blighty. We've had a good run, haven't we, in England? With the United Kingdom. Things seem to be going a bit to pot. But that's political, and we're not going to get there. If you have anything that you want to say to us, find us on Twitter at EastEnders Week. You can find us on Instagram at EastEnders Weekly Podcast, and you can find our Facebook group. Just search EastEnders Weekly Podcast and click to join the group. It's a great community on all 3 of our social media outlets.
We have episode discussions every episode now on Facebook group.
Oh yes, so you can join in on that.
Fun.
Come join. You can also email us if you wanted to get in touch directly. Just simply write to eastendersweekly@gmail.com. We live tweet every time the episode is aired in the UK on a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday. And there you also find on all those social medias our Who Won the Week as well, which you can vote on each week too. So there we go. Thank you for listening as always. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Yeah, and we'll see you next week.